was right. The sound was wrong.
Yeah, well, we're live anyway, so fuck it.
It didn't have our cool song in it.
Look, bro. In any case, I'm Restless Corpse.
I'm Bill.
Preston Esquire.
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Right. And this is, I believe, episode 18.
Nope. Season 2.
Oh, what? Oh, because we took a week off.
Took a week off, and
Season 2, episode 1.
We took a week off, and we discussed some moderate changes in format. Some content.
We did.
So I think that, being that in terms of content, we're taking things in it, we're turning it up to 11. I think. So I think that with a shift in content,
it's pretty much always at 11.
Right, but I think with a shift in content, we have the ability to claim new season status.
Even though we said we weren't going to do that.
Right. It's only for this episode.
We're a bunch of liars.
It's just like a reboot.
A reboot? This is episode 1.
Reboot. And then we turn into different dudes, you know?
All right.
Or not different dudes, but like our clothes change to suit the game that we've been loading.
You brought yourself a beer, but you bring me one?
Oh, I didn't bring myself a beer. I had half a beer that I was drinking while I was waiting for you to be released by the police and get back home.
Yes. This is the criminal edition. And I'm not going to get into it, but I did.
I think you have a surprised warm beer in the drawer.
I'm not drinking that warm beer. But I did say fuck the police and did my thing after telling them yes sir and no sir and yes ma'am. It was a lady cop.
Was it a hot lady cop?
She's cute.
Sweet. It's good.
She wasn't cute when she's giving me those fucking tickets though.
I suppose her attractiveness points went away with the citations.
Yeah.
Life is hard like that. But anyway, yeah.
So yeah, we did discuss a couple changes to the show. We're gonna be turning it into more of like a cool guy show.
Look, I think that
not all video games anymore.
We love games, and I think that
we're going to talk about
at our core, it's always gonna fall back into the game situation.
Yeah, but crazy hair.
But I think that
crazy hair.
Yeah, that's I think that kind of the goal was to also incorporate elements of other aspects of pop culture. I mean, some TV, some movies, some comics, some other random tech news, shit like that. To really,
which means I guess that we should pay attention to tech news.
I read all kinds of stuff all the time.
Shut up.
Sorry, I do. I'm one of those people now.
I read cutscenes in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that we need to do like an iPhone 5 episode or something. That would be silly.
That would be silly because I think iPhones are stupid.
Well, I mean, I don't own a 5.
Android all the way.
I don't own a 5, so it really would be a poorly underinformed
Are you going to get a 5C?
No.
Are you going to get a 5?
5C, I believe. I'll get a 5 when I get a free upgrade in spring. 5C, I believe, is the model that's got like the plastic body and it's chintzy and cheap or whatever.
Dude, seriously. Like, lick your hand and help me out.
No. Pour that warm beer on it.
No, it's not going to.
That will get us viewers.
Look, just talk while I print.
That'll get us viewers. If you're like... you shaking the beer all over the place, it would be one of those YouTube.
How'd that go again?
You gotta make the beer noise. It's gotta be. There it was up there. That's what you gotta do. I think that you really gotta sell yourself to these people. You gotta be a little bit more romance novel cover with a shirt on.
Like Fabio?
Yeah.
I clearly don't have the hair for it.
I don't know what to tell you. So in the video game world, though, the big news this week is well,
last week, but we didn't do a show last week.
No. This week, there was all the talk about the Steam Box console for a bunch of years.
Sweet
for
article.
A bunch of time.
It looks cool.
Well, now it's a Steam OS that they're going to be doing.
Right. They're calling them Steam machines, and there'll be all kinds of different hardware, and it's just like buying a PC, but for your TV for games.
Right. Which, if you've got if you've got a PC already or a laptop, I suppose. Is that,
well, they said that you can
it's
just
got an
use
HDMI out. You don't really need a Steam box.
Yeah, they said that you can use your PC, just have to have the OS.
Right. Oh, for what? For all their games?
Yeah.
Like Steam as a service is going away if you don't know?
No, they're still going to be doing all their shit. But if you want to use the Steam Machine stuff, without buying the Steam Machine, just use your own PC, you just download the Steam OS.
Oh, yeah, whatever. That's fine.
Did you see the controller?
That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. The controller looks weird.
It looks like an old
school. It's got dual trackpads. It doesn't have sticks on it or anything.
Yeah, I mean, a mouse, I would assume.
There's no buttons on it. Well, there's 3. There's in a line across the bottom, 3 buttons and 2 like touchpads that are just.
I'm sure there'll be like a press right on the thing for A.
Right, it'll be soft buttons, but I mean, it looks interesting.
It does look. It's got a screen in the middle.
Yeah, which apparently everybody really wants to put screens in the middle. Like Sony's doing that with the PS4. Really? Fucking screen on their controller. Yeah,
Xbox,
I don't know what the fuck.
Xbox not going in for that shit, are they?
No.
Speaking of Xbox, November 22nd.
Yeah. Should be good stuff. What are the launch titles that you're getting?
I'm only getting Battlefield 4 as a launch title. I'm getting Titanfall, but it's not a launch title.
Yeah, are you getting Ghosts?
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to get it right off the bat. Goody and I talked about it, and we don't like Call of Duty that much anymore.
Right.
Not enough to add to the already giant expense it's going to be.
Right.
I mean, he's getting it, but I'm not. I'll get it eventually, because I do want to play it. I mean, I like Call of Duty single players, and I like co-op and shit. And I still like the multiplayer. It doesn't look that different.
No, it doesn't look like that.
They talked about it.
It's a game changer, man.
Yeah,
it's a game
it
changer.
looks
not just the change of the game, but like a metaphorical game changer. It's probably a poor choice of words when I'm talking about an actual game.
Look, I'm just gonna do
Devil Lock it, but in a
there we go.
Funny way.
Well, my hair is fucking wavy, bro. It doesn't.
That's all right. Like that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Fucking cool guy problems.
Well, right, yeah, whatever. I just saw a listing the other day for something that I think that you should probably buy. But
why me?
Well, when I explain, you'll probably understand why. And I'm probably going to buy it, even though I don't necessarily need to buy it. But it's something that I'm really like, that's a pretty fucking sweet deal. So, late October, I think 20-something, 18th or 22nd or something like that, somewhere in that range, Castlevania Lords of Shadow is being released again. The first game is getting released again for Xbox and PS3 with the DLC and an HD version of the 3DS game.
Oh, snap. Maybe
and a demo of Lords of Shadow 2.
Nice.
You
just want me to buy it so you can play the demo.
Well, no, I'm probably going to buy it so I can play the 3DS one again on the console.
Play the demo, though, right?
Yeah.
When I get it? Because you're not going to get it right away, are you?
I don't know. It really depends on money. But I'll play the demo.
We'll have like family time. We'll just sit on the couch and play some games.
Yeah, but I think it's a really, really sweet deal. I think it's only $30. Lords of Shadow is a fantastic game. I've talked about it on the show before. And it comes with the DLC. I would assume that it's a second disc with all that stuff on it. But the DLC is fucking amazing, which I've talked about on the show before because it fills in that gap between the end of the game and where Lords of Shadow 2 is, and gives you that depth of the character and how Gabriel went from, or actually it fills in the gap between like where you finish your final boss fight and where the end scene of the game is, like, because you finish the boss fight and you're standing there in the void after, like, in hell or whatever, and then the next scene he's Dracula and you're like, what happened, so and instead of like full motion cutscenes, they do the comic book style art and everything for those those 2 DLCs. Is really, really great stuff. And Lords of Shadow, Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate for the 3DS, I reviewed it on the show a couple months back. Yeah. It's a really, really fun game. I felt like it incorporated a lot of really great elements of Lords of Shadow in terms of the combat, but played more like a classic side-scrolling, like a Symphony of the Night kind of a Castlevania game. So that game is also fantastic to get, and so getting an HD version of that on your console to be able to play at home and on the big screens and stuff. That's a really sweet deal. I'd pay the $30 just for that.
Yeah.
So it's a great purchase. I'm pretty stoked about it. And even though I own Lords of Shadow and I bought it on release day and whatever, I'll probably buy a copy of that because
you do that.
Well, sure.
You rebuy stuff. How many copies of Symphony of the Night do you own? 4.
I have an original PS1 copy. I have it on my. I have it on my Xbox. I bought the version of Lords of Shadow I bought because it came with a code for Symphony of the Night. I have it on my PS3 so that I could put it on my PSP. And then I also have what the hell game was that? Dracula X Chronicles, which comes with it on the disc as well. You can never have too many copies of Symphony of the Night.
That's true.
I mean, you really should be able to go anywhere in your gaming library and stumble upon a copy of Symphony of the Night so that you can be like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
I only have that game-breaking sword in my PS3, or my 360.
Shield Rod, John.
No, the Chrysogrim, the one that does like 7 strikes and does more damage. It automatically does 7 strikes every time you swing it.
Yeah, but the Shield Rod, you just hold it there.
Dude, have you ever gotten the Chrysogrim?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Shield Rod. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's coming out. That's pretty sick. Buy it. Buy it twice. No, just once. Just once.
Once.
My mother hit me once. Just once. It's a kind of dangerously good movie.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 now, because it is the criminal edition, and that's not why it's called the criminal edition. It's called the criminal edition because I am apparently a criminal. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is actually pretty damn good.
Really?
Yes, and I think you would enjoy it, even though you don't like those kinds of games.
Yeah, just the gameplay just gets kind of bland for me.
But you do play those types of games. You like, Crackdown and
I didn't. Did you see how much time I put into Crackdown?
And Infamous.
I played Crackdown.
Yeah, but you played the hell out of it for those 2 hours. You played it harder than it's ever been played in 2 hours ever.
Possible. Infamous I like because I like the story.
Right, and that's why I said you might like this one, because it's not the standard, it's like playing Payday, but in an open world, third-person environment. There's heists and shit, and you hire certain people to fill certain roles, and...
I mean, really, what else qualifies as Assassin's Creed? I don't think that counts.
It's open world.
It's open world, but I don't think it really counts because
it's the same.
Because you can literally just ignore everything and just.
You can do that in any Grand Theft Auto game. You can do that in any open world game. All the side shit is just that. It's side shit. But anyway, it's got 3 different characters. Franklin, who's like a repo man, who's apparently in a gang, he's trying to get out of it. And I think that Franklin is my favorite character because his sidekick character Lamar is fucking hilarious. And then there's...
Hey, imagine that guy down the block's car alarm's going. Yeah. I forget it.
Criminal edition. What? I hope somebody's stealing it because we're talking about Grand Theft Auto.
Why have a car alarm if wind sets it off? It's a boy who cried wolf situation with this damn car alarm.
Right. So anyway, there's Franklin, who's cool as shit. There's Michael, who's like a ex-bank robber who has gotten out of the business and he's in a witness protection program for 10 years.
Is he a bank robber with a heart of gold?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is. He's got a family, and he's trying to stay out of it. It's in the commercials. I don't know if you ever saw the commercials. He's the one talking to the therapist. Like, he's your standard Hollywood.
I haven't been seeing a lot of TV because a lot of that stuff, a lot of those commercials that I had been seeing for stuff like that were at work. Yeah. So I would see a lot of commercials with no sound, but now I'm back in the kitchen. I don't see the TV a lot.
Well. What's cool about Michael is anytime you switch to a character, they'll be in a random spot doing a random thing. and they'll be wearing a random thing that you can change. But he's always on like khaki shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. And he's mid-40s, just hates his wife, hates his kids. His son is this fat dude that just plays video games all the time and hates him.
What a jerk.
Yeah, and
who does that?
They have it's
losers.
I forget what it's called. Something Slaughter 7 is their spoof on Call of Duty. He's always playing it, and he's got his headset. And when his dad comes in, he's like, "Dad, go away!" He cusses at him and shit. It's hilarious. And then there's Trevor, who is the funniest character in the game. He's a fucking psychopath. He was one of Michael's like running buddies, and he thought that Michael was dead. And when he finds out Michael's dead, he goes ballistic and has to go find him. And
when he finds out he's not dead, you mean?
Or yeah, when he finds out he's not dead. So those three characters eventually all meet up, and hijinks ensue.
That's always the best.
Yeah. What's cool about this one, and a lot of the Grand Theft Autos always have like weird side things. Like in 4, you could go play darts and bowl and shit like that. In this one, there's tennis, which is a Michael thing, and the mechanics for the tennis is just like you popped in a tennis game. I mean,
by the way, I wish there were people in the chat who could tell us if our audio is fucked up. Is that supposed to be muted over there?
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll get echo.
Is it muted?
Yeah. See the little X?
Oh, okay.
And it tells me to unmute it.
Yeah, all
Why
right.
you gotta fuck with my shit here, bro?
I just saw the volume at halfway in. I didn't want.
You just broke the fourth wall, man. People aren't supposed to know that we're not in their computer giving them information.
The files are in the computer.
So yeah, the tennis game is actually really cool, and I fucking destroy it. There's a golf game, which for some reason is a Franklin thing. I have not. You have to get to the golf courses at the right time of day to actually be able to play, and I never make it. So I haven't played that yet.
I love a good golf game.
Lamar, who is the side, like the Franklin sidekick, has a Rottweiler that he can't take care of anymore. So you take over, and you can walk it, and you have a tennis ball, and you can play fetch with it and stuff. Some of the greatest 30 minutes I've ever played in a video game was playing fetch with that dog in traffic.
Really?
It's hilarious. Yeah.
But does the dog keep hitting?
No, he like weaves in between. Like people stop and honk and cuss at him, and it's fucking hilarious. And that was because I was playing Final Fantasy, so I was queuing up for something. It usually takes a while, so I'm like, I didn't want to get into anything big, so I was just gonna play fetch with the dog. Busy intersection, throw it across the street. Good times. Good times.
All right. So
you can do things like if you buy an airfield, because the first heist you do gives you a shit ton of money, and you buy an airfield, you can use it to like run drugs in either a buggy or a plane. There's flight school, which I've done all of with Michael to learn how to fly the planes and the choppers and shit. And there's these just little question marks on the map. You go to them and it's like a random mission. Those are pretty cool so far. So yeah, it's a pretty good game. The story is a lot of Michael being fucked over by the FBI. So
yeah,
you do missions for like spies.
I was at a leading retailer of video games recently, purchasing a game which I'll talk about in a minute. But while I was browsing their inventory, I overheard I believe it was a mother and son, like teenage son and mother, purchasing a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
And the purveyor of this establishment yeah, was. It almost sounded like this corporation didn't want to sell copies of the game.
Yeah.
Because the employee, who will remain nameless and genderless, mostly because I don't remember her. I mean, their name. They said...
Was she cute?
No. They said...
Gotta ask.
Well, I'd asked to check an ID, but obviously, he's with his mother. So I just need to make sure. I need to verify that
How
you
old is
are
this kid?
probably 16 or something. And she said, "Well, I would just like to verify that you are aware of the content of the game."
Well, they have to do that.
Well, hold on, and that's fine. She says, "Well, are you aware of the content of the game that you're purchasing, being that it is purchased for your son?" And she said, "Yes, I'm aware of the content." And she said, "Are you sure? Because I know there's a lot of really, really racy content in there. I know that." The strippers,
like the
strippers are
vanilla
actually,
unicorn.
She says, the strippers are actually naked in the game, and you're running drugs and you're killing people a lot, and you're stealing cars, and I was like, I feel like she's telling this mother way more than she needs to tell her.
Right. The kid's probably like, oh.
And I looked over, and the kid was like. I'm like, man, poor dude.
Yeah, like he just wanted to play some GTA 5. and he probably told his mom, he's like, no, it's cool, they censor everything.
And they just told his mom that there'd be titties up in that game.
It's cool, Mom, we'll get the Australian edition.
It's like 2 hours long. There's no content.
All you can do is like politely ask a dude to get out of his car.
Excuse me, sir. May I borrow your automobile? Oh, would you like to get your briefcase out of the boot before I take it?
Out of the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the strip club, Vanilla Unicorn.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it ridiculous?
Yes.
Vanilla Unicorn?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. But, yeah, so overall opinion on it?
Well, before I get to the overall opinion, I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
First of all, there's no solid 80s channel.
Okay, that's balls.
Right. Like, I
did hear some Pet Shop Boys and stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? I cannot for the life of me figure out what channel that's on.
Oh.
Because it wasn't
Girls.
It was when I was like at a store or something. And I was playing in the store. And there's no like solid electronic channel.
I wish
it's mostly like house music. I'm not a big fan of house.
Look, if nobody's gonna say anything in this chat, we should put a picture of something awesome up there.
Yeah, what do you want?
What about that picture of us rocking out? Is that still in there?
Yeah, but we got made fun of for that one.
There's nobody here.
Let's see if we can find it.
I mean, I just feel like that's BRB lol. Change it to.
I might have. Oh. Be right back.
Making the
we're back, by the way.
That's shortly after us making the cock and balls on stage.
I think that was right before, because I was like, dude, check it out, I'm balls. And you're like, haha, and then you're like, I'll do the cock. Yeah, good times.
That's pretty good.
Where was that?
That was at Livewire in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. Was that the Electronic Savers 2 or the next time we played?
That was the...
Assemblage 23.
That was the show with Assemblage 23 at Livewire in Chicago. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Last September. Like right around this weekend last year.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's Rock and Ray.
Rock and Ray, who is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Ray Thompson. Solid guy. Super clutch. All right, so no solid 80s channel.
All right, so no solid 80s channel, no solid electronic channel, unless you're into the house shit, which I'm not really into. So yeah, I don't really have any good channel while I'm driving around doing shit.
Well, that sucks.
And that upsets me.
What else sucks about the game?
The character model graphics, understandably because it's a giant open world game, are not as good as, they could be in this day and age. But despite that, the environments look fucking beautiful. Like, amazing.
You get a trade-off then, that's fine.
Yeah. And that's kind of the only thing I don't like
about it.
Are
the environments destructible environments?
No.
Well, that's a damn shame.
Well, to an extent. I mean,
lay waste to the whole fucking city.
You can knock down like street signs and shit and street lights, but you've always been able to do that in Grand Theft Auto since 3.
I want to be able to blow up buildings.
Well, you can in the story.
What if they steal my stapler?
There's a really
burn down the
burning
building.
It down. That's not blowing it up. But early in the game, like Michael finds out his wife is sleeping with the tennis instructor. So he chases him out, and then Franklin is coming over at that time. He's like, "Hey, help me out!" And Franklin's all right. So you jump in the truck and you chase him to what you think is his place, which is this giant mansion on like a hill. There's like a road, and then there's a hill, and then it's got a giant deck. And while Michael's like bitching at this guy who's up there like on the deck, just bitching him out because he's nailing his wife or whatever, Franklin's hooking up these cables to the supports, and then you drive off and pull the whole thing down. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Turns out the house is owned by a mafia boss, so you have to do work for him to pay it off.
Still funny.
Yeah.
All right.
So destructible environments, not really.
Overall opinion of the game.
It's good. I recommend the shit out of it, and I play it all the time. It's the best GTA so far.
Right on?
Yeah.
Right on.
Buy it.
Sweet.
If you're into that.
If
you're not into it, buy it anyway.
I don't want to fall back into our regular routine of game, but...
What do you get? Well, yeah, but... And then, do your thing, and then we'll talk about something else.
Well, I because I like to play games.
That picture.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty good. Because I wanted to find something that could be a little more fun for Dexter and I to play together. I picked up Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
Which is why I was in that corporate game retailer establishment. And
by the way, your story from that establishment is not nearly as funny as mine. Really? If you remember it at all.
No.
Oh, go ahead and do your thing.
Okay. So I went there. I picked up Mario Kart Wii, which is not a new game by any means, but man, is that a fun game?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
I haven't played a Mario Kart since the first one.
Really? We should play a little bit. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta work early.
We'll figure it out. We'll play it sometime.
I rock the shit out of that game.
Well, yeah, you're playing against your kids.
No. I'm talking like when I'm doing like tournaments and shit like that.
It's like Bad Santa when he's like...
Not when I'm playing...
Beat the shit out of some kids today.
I don't play against my kids.
Made me feel really good about my life.
I don't play against my kids. We do team battles, and like we're on the same team.
Yeah.
Dexter actually got second place in a race today.
Nice.
I don't know how the fuck he pulled that off. Everybody else must have been not driving.
Well, maybe he's just a natural.
He's usually last place.
Oh.
You don't go from last place all the time to second place, like right behind me. Like I was killing everybody, and he I went through the finish line, and he went right behind me.
Maybe he was just following you.
I don't know how we pulled it off. It's a really fun game, though. The problem I'm having with it is that it seems to be like they have it set up for the 50 cc's, which is like just the carts for that league, and then they've got 100 cc's, which is all just motorcycles, and then 150, which is a mix of carts and motorcycles.
Yeah, motorcycles?
Yeah, the motorcycles are awesome. But
who's your favorite character?
I started with Bowser, but then when I unlocked Dry Bones, I'm totally using Dry Bones.
All right.
There's other ones that I want to unlock. I guess there's a skeleton Bowser one, which would be pretty sick.
Nice.
I just gotta unlock it. But I was really hoping that there would be more of a variety in the tracks that are available. It just seems that it's the same tracks.
How many tracks are there?
There's a lot.
But they're all relatively the same.
But for each different category, for just carts, just motorcycles, a mix of motorcycles and carts, it's the same tracks for each one. So if you get used to the layout of the track, it kind of makes the game like...
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the problem that a lot of racing games have, which is why I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, in fact, I did some capture stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Of a race that Dexter and I did. I think I got the one where he got second place on there. So I'll maybe put up a video of us doing that. I'd have to do some voiceover audio just to talk about, like, I'll critique his performance because it's a split screen game, so it's kind of fun. But I'm really enjoying playing it. I accidentally will spend 2-3 hours just doing races. Like, I'm not even into racing games, and I'll just be hanging out. Like, I use the classic controller rather than Wiimoting it up.
What does Dexter use?
He uses the Wiimote.
Yeah.
Which, it's tricky. I mean, you really got to get, like, I think that when he started getting better today was because he was starting to get comfortable with the range of movement that really gets the most response and that kind of stuff. I mean, when I was trying to use the motion control, I'm like cranking it.
Do you have the wheel?
No, I don't have the wheel. But
so you just have to hold it like it's a wheel?
Zephyr said he's got a wheel that he wants to hook me up with for Dexter to use.
Cool.
But yeah, it's fun.
You just tape it to a pizza round.
Dude. Dude. I'm sure I could find something around in the house to tape it to. Regardless. Kick-ass, fun stuff. It's shocking to me how fun it is. But at the same time, I guess it's not. Like, Nintendo's been doing these games for a long time, and there's a lot of tracks in the game that are from the SNES release and from the GameCube release and from the 64 release, like where they redo these tracks and put them into each subsequent, which I guess gives them the opportunity to have like a larger number of tracks in each game.
Right.
So I haven't done the other game modes yet. There's like battle game modes, like where you're competing for coins or balloons and shit like that. That's, when you start incorporating that stuff, obviously that'll maybe really extend the lifespan of the game, playability wise. Because I talked about what's up.
The amount of gray in my hair looks like I just have patchy hair on the side.
It's good.
Just throwing that out there.
Because I had bitched about Skyward Sword on here a couple of weeks ago, I also managed to procure a Wii copy of Twilight Princess.
I have a Wii copy of an unopened Wii copy.
Why do you have an unopened Twilight Princess?
I got it. Okay, a while back I bought. What did I buy? I bought something from Kmart because that other place didn't have it.
Yeah.
And I just said Kmart, whatever. They didn't. They were all out. Like they were like, oh, if you didn't pre-order it, then you're not going to get it. So I walked next door and bought it, and they gave you a free up to $20 game with it.
Oh, so you just
so I was
Twilight
like,
Princess?
Twilight Princess, why not?
Yeah, I got it for $7. I'm not really all that upset about it.
Right.
The point is, though, that now that means I own a GameCube copy and a Wii copy of it. But I never played it on the Wii, and as I'm playing, I'm kind of like, Oh,
it was L.A. Noire.
Oh, all right. I'm thinking that maybe what's wrong with Skyward Sword is that it's lacking the controls that they used for the Wii for fucking Twilight Princess.
Right. Oh, so they took that all away? You have to use... Oh, we talked about this. Yeah, you have to use the motion controls for...
Right, but you use the sword, like the motion controls for the sword for Twilight Princess, but everything else just feels really natural in like classic controller style. Yeah. Skyward Sword just feels clunky all the time.
Yeah. To the point where you have to just walk past enemies because you can't kill them.
No, that's
what you said last time. There were the things that shoot things at you.
Oh. No, it's just that one plant. Prick. No, it makes me sad. I mean, I feel like that basically means to me that we're never going to see another another home console Zelda game that's as good as Twilight Princess or before.
Yeah.
We'll get the...
Well, maybe they'll shape up.
We're going to get that Link to the Past sequel on the 3DS, which is going to be, a huge move. And I'm pretty stoked about, like, the world map's the same and everything. It looks really, really great.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see a big...
It's not going to have as epic an opening.
Right. I think the real problem that we're looking at now is that it seems to be that they've committed to a more kid-friendly, cartoony sort of look for...
Which is a shame.
For the game. And I think that Twilight Princess had a really good blend of, like, realistic but still cartoony kind of stuff. I think that the aesthetic that they had for Twilight Princess was really ideal. It was, like, exactly where it needed to be. And then they went right back Wind Waker direction right after that. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because we're older. Maybe it's just because we're more into like darker sorts of games and stuff. But I just feel like Or maybe it's because we're American, I suppose. But I personally feel like these Zelda games would be hugely more successful if they were allowed to grow up.
Yeah.
Along with the people that have been playing the games forever.
That's what everything else is doing.
Yeah. I mean, now, on the flip side of that, if Metroid wants to regress a little bit, that would be okay with me. Because Other M, come on. Come on. Seriously?
There's a very famous VirtualBromance live episode where you talk about...
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Right on. So yeah, that's all been going on, and I'm still I'm up to level 45 with my Psycho and Borderlands, and
yeah. So you're playing it all the damn time.
Tiny Tina's Dragon Keep is what I'm doing right now, and Assault on Dragon Keep.
Just making sure she's not telling you that our audio is fucked up.
No, she's not. She's talking about Cleanly Beef 7, obviously. Was it? Oh, I'm not going to do this right now.
Yeah, I didn't. I just wanted you to make sure our audio was okay.
Hasty Crescent 11, not as good as Cleanly Beef 7. I want to get a new Xbox Live account so that they give me a random bullshit name too.
Like mine is Handy Carnivore 13 or something like
that. Was it?
Yeah, that was my second account.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's where it came from? That's what they gave you randomly?
Yeah, Handy Carnivore.
I wish I remembered what they gave me. Oh, man. But, yeah, so I lots of Borderlands. I did the first run-through of the, what is it called, Digistruct Peak thing. And that's pretty cool. And yeah. James fucking had some old, lower-level Psycho gear that he hooked me up with. That was pretty sick. Yeah, it's going well. I mean,
you know what else is going well? Final Fantasy 14.
I bet it is. But we don't really need to get into it. It's okay.
Oh, but we can get into everything else.
You don't want to get into it.
I don't. We're almost at an hour.
That's okay. So,
I don't think we're gonna be able to do it. Oh, go ahead.
No,
yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about some other stuff. Yeah. I mean, we'll listen to some new tracks off the new Gary Newman record that was pretty sick.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sick. Yeah, the guy's pretty amazing. I had no idea. Apparently, I've lived in under a rock or something.
Apparently, I have.
Gary Newman apparently for 10 years has been doing dark industrial.
What?
Yeah, and it's awesome.
What? You have to pass me some of this.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of it. That's been really, really great.
that's actually funny.
Yeah, he's not just a pilot for
that's exactly what I thought
of. I also
take us to the tundra.
The final episode of the final episode special of IT Crowd is out.
Yeah, I gotta see that too.
I watched that today. It's pretty fantastic.
It's a shame it's a final episode and not a start of a new season.
Our guy makes a single 2-minute cameo.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Everything about it.
Does he stare off into space a lot during his 2 minutes?
I don't want to tell you.
All right.
I don't want to ruin anything.
All right.
But yeah, the IT Crowd special was really, really great. I'm really glad that happened rather than having it just sort of end ambiguously. I don't want to ruin it though. There was so much funny stuff in it. I'm trying to get caught up on so much TV because I'm taking advantage of this Amazon Prime having free streaming HD that you can run through your game consoles.
Yeah.
So that's why I watched all of the Wonder Years, and then I watched all three seasons of Arrested Development. Not that last one that they just did, that one on Netflix or whatever. I heard it wasn't very good, and I'm a little bit scared to watch it. But now I'm watching Jekyll, which is badass.
You know what I want you to talk about? I want you to talk about Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow,
because I haven't seen it yet,
is shockingly good. And we should talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe, but Sleepy Hollow...
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine is fucking... All I gotta say is Andy Samberg is really good. Terry Crews is really good. Andre Braugher, the straightest gay man ever. Amazing. No. Sleepy Hollow with a ridiculously...
Is he straight or gay than the dude than fucking Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints?
He's more of a straight man because he's not like eccentric at all. He's like, he's a totally like no bullshit professional fucking hardcore by the book police captain.
All right.
Who has fought against his reputation as a gay cop for 30 years.
Nice.
To get his own command. So he does not fuck around at all. It's just, yeah. So Sleepy Hollow with a completely absurdly stupid basis for a TV show. Like, it's the kind of thing, much like Teen Wolf.
What's going to happen at the end of the season when they finish the guy and then they want to do another season?
Right, exactly. Much like Teen Wolf, when I first heard about it, that's retarded. Why are they making a TV series out of it? The Teen Wolf is so good. Sleepy Hollow, the key element that sells it for me that I think people need to understand is that it's not about Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. I mean, it is, but it is about that. But he's not just the Headless Horseman who's like chasing him and throwing pumpkins at him like in the Disney thing. It's They've tied it into a far larger mythos.
What about in the Johnny Depp movie?
It's bigger than that too, because rather than just being the Headless Horseman's the villain, and maybe they
would break up with me while we were watching that once in the theater.
Wow,
just throwing that out, bitch.
No, he's the villain, and he's gonna send out his headless minions every week, and they're gonna. No, that would be stupid. The Headless Horseman is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which gives you the opportunity to have a far larger scale. And there, I read an IO9 article that basically said, if you think this show looks stupid, you need to watch this because it's going to change your mind. So every point where they hit a plot point that people are going, that makes you want to go, oh Jesus, well, come on. They handle it exactly the right way.
Yeah.
And it's oh man, it's just like these other shows that are really successful right now, like Grimm and Once Upon a Time and stuff, that are these classic fantasy story themed shows, but it's frustratingly good.
You got another Teen Wolf on your hands.
It's not as good as Teen Wolf,
right? But it sounds to me exactly like what you said about Teen Wolf.
I think one of the things that Teen Wolf has that makes us like it. Well, it has Lydia. That's good, but Teen Wolf has, in a sort of Buffy-esque way, its own Scooby Gang,
right?
Which I think is what sells a show like that,
right?
Which is, as a good segue, which is what I think is one of the weakest points of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, is that I don't give a single shit about any of the lead characters. Like they just aren't interesting enough yet, and maybe that's because the first episode was more about like, hey, Phil Coulson's a fucking super cool guy. For some reason he's alive, and that's a mystery that they're like sort of teasing at in the show already. And so they really focus on Coulson. They really focus on the fact that there's some big looming evil, a big bad, if you will. I think that it's going to be more like a Hydra aim, like Wolfram and Hart kind of situation, where you've got an evil corporation or organization that is doing things, and that they're going to end up encountering minions of that organization, rather than like big bad guy who sends out little guys after them. Like, I think it's going to be more like a Wolfram and Hart situation. But I just cannot care about any of the team right now. None of them really strike me as all that dynamic or interesting.
No super cool characters like alphas.
There's no standouts, right? There's no standouts. There's no Gary.
Right.
Yeah,
I was just talking about him the other day at work.
So good.
Such a great character.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I guess I'm not seeing as many new shows this year as I have in the last couple of years, but it seems to be like there's less like stinkers than there normally are. Like most of the shows that I've seen so far seem pretty competent, and I think they're probably going to stick around.
So, would you recommend somebody at least checking out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Or do
yeah, I think that the Joss Whedon connection and that kind of stuff. I think that it's going to be good. It just thus far hasn't. Like, I'm a bit of a skeptic, and it hasn't done anything to really convince me that it's the show I should be excited about every week. It's not Teen Wolf. It's not Being Human. I don't get excited about it then. Those are the two shows that I get excited about every week when they come out.
Yeah.
And, that reminds me, I mean, Being Human's going to start in January.
Yeah, I can't fucking wait, bro.
And the second half of the season of Teen Wolf is going to start in January. 2014 is going to start off awesome.
Right. So, but going back to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, who's in it? Like, character-wise?
The only, Maria Hill and Coulson are the only, like, big names in it. The team is fabricated characters.
Really? Why would they do that?
They didn't want to have. They wanted to create an identity for the show that was separate from the movies. So they're not going to have any of the. They've said that at this point they have no intention of having any of the movie characters show up in the show.
Okay.
But
aren't there
Kobe Smulders
people
already,
in S.H.I.E.L.D. that weren't in the movies? I mean, come on now.
Well, in the comics, S.H.I.E.L.D. is just sort of a big government organization.
Well, right,
There's not really any standout characters.
Maybe that's why they're doing it that way. Then.
Right. In fact, in the comics, only in the last year or so, they just randomly decided to start using Agent Coulson as a regular character that just shows up, who's never been in the comics ever before. And he just seems to stand there next to Maria Hill. In fact, I also have an eerie suspicion. I don't read a lot of the books that tie into S.H.I.E.L.D., but I read a lot of comics. I think they may have made regular Nick Fury black.
So like they're taking the success of the movies.
They took a character. I think they took a character. Like I was reading a book. What the fuck was it? X-Men or something? And they were there was like a S.H.I.E.L.D. scene going on, and there was Ultimate Comics Nick Fury, which is the one that looks like Sam Jackson,
right? Which
is their alternate timeline. And I'm like, wait a second, Ultimate Nick Fury's here, and I looked at the cover of the book and was like, this is not an Ultimate book. What is going on here? But they didn't say he was Nick Fury, so maybe there's just another dude who's a high-ranking dude at S.H.I.E.L.D. in regular continuity that looks exactly like Ultimate Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Either that or they made regular Nick Fury black and bald.
They made him Ultimate?
Right. Which, if you're going to take a character that's been around since the 60s, I think, maybe even earlier than that, as like a white dude with dark hair with white sides on his hair who chomps on cigars and is a badass, like a dude who was prevalent in storylines as that dude like in the last year, and then you're just going to put up one day and be like, what are you talking about? This guy's always been a bald black dude. Always.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem. I think that would be like saying, like, one day being like, oh, what are you talking about? Wolverine's always been 6'2".
Right.
And he's always been 5'4". You know, you can't just because you feel like, oh, the movie represented the guy this way, so let's just make the comic that way now. Like, you got a lot of fucking backstory to really deal with.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, if they're just trying to modernize the entire continuity, maybe. But if they made regular Nick Fury black, I'm going to be really disappointed. Not because I have a problem with Nick Fury being black, but because...
Or black people in general, you should probably say something like
right. I really like Ultimate Nick Fury. I think he's a really kick-ass character, but that's in the Ultimate continuity. Like,
right, you're not upset that they're making him black. You're upset that they're changing him.
They're changing him in a way that
is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that they can't justify.
Yeah.
Short of like somebody with a magic wand came in and zapped him and turned him into a completely different dude. Like, their personalities are different and their backstories are different and their, you know, everything about him is very different. You know, regular Nick Fury always wore a S.H.I.E.L.D. jumpsuit, which is like navy blue and white and weird. And, I don't know. I think it takes away from Ultimate Nick Fury being Ultimate Nick Fury.
Right.
But, maybe I'm just one of those guys. Maybe I'm being one of those comic book geeks right now.
Kind of
hypercritical of little things that don't matter. I'll compromise. You can keep the stupid, randomly fabricated Phil Coulson character in all the S.H.I.E.L.D. books for no reason, who happens to be now standing next to Maria Hill whispering things to her, because that's what's in the movies. You can keep him there, but you're gonna have to fix this Nick Fury situation. You could shave his head, and then he's halfway there. You could shave his head and give him a really good tan.
Right.
And then he's just C. Thomas Howell from Soul Man. But I think that's extreme. And racist. Soul Man's one of the most racist movies ever made. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go look it up. You can probably watch it for free somewhere. C. Thomas Howell, Ray Dong Chung, James Earl Jones, taking ridiculous tanning pills and getting a Jerry curl to get a black scholarship.
Tanning pills?
Yeah, that's what he does in the movie. Is not okay, and it's not an okay plot line. That's offensive. You're doing it wrong. This is not the 80s anymore, but it had Ray Dong Chung, so everybody loves that.
Right.
Whatever.
Anything else cool happening this week? Or last week? Since we didn't have a show last week.
Man, I'm sure there were things last week, but I don't, your computer was busy, dying.
Man. You know what? Let's talk about sweet packs for a second.
I didn't have
Fuck sweet packs.
I didn't have any sweet packs.
I got a sweet pack. So, yeah, the reason we didn't do a show last week is because while playing Final Fantasy 14, I got into an instance thing. We were fighting Titan. Titan's really fucking hard. The hard mode Titan. Really tough. So we got a group that was going to help me with it, and I needed to be on Ventrilo.
What is Ventrilo?
It's a TeamSpeak or
Mumble. It's a voice chat service.
And it's the only one I don't have. I have TeamSpeak and I have Mumble, and I have Raid Call, but I never use Raid Call because it's stupid. So it was the only one I didn't have, and they were like, dude, we're calling out the things that he does and when to move and things like that. I'm like, fine, I'll download Ventrilo. Googled Ventrilo, clicked on the first thing that popped up, which I thought was the fucking official site, downloaded it.
It was download.com, wasn't it?
No, I don't think
download.com
so. No, it was like Ventrilo.
Okay, because download.com actually tacks in a bunch of software the same way that Sweetpacks gets in.
But I downloaded it quick because we were in a hurry. And 15 minutes later, my internet speed started dropping real crap. I was streaming things and it was telling me I was dropping frames all over the place. But I didn't think anything of it until a couple hours later when I needed to go to the Free Company's website for something. And I always just click next tab, like this thing right here,
Yeah.
And it immediately opened up Bing. I don't use Bing. I'm a Google guy. So, right then and there, red flag showed up. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I don't use Bing. And it said sweetpacks.com or whatever. So I did a few searches, because if you have this thing and you actually type in an address, it'll go there. But if you use the Google toolbar or whatever, or the way Chrome works is you just type in your search in the address bar, and it searches it for you. So I went to google.com and looked up Sweet Packs. That fucking thing is vicious, ridiculous vicious. So I fucked with my registry. I add remove programs, get rid of all kinds of crap. There were a shit ton of extensions I had to get rid of, and when I thought it was gone, it wasn't, and I had to, I have Avast, and it does the
Avast, ye mateys.
You can set up a boot time scan where you
a boot what?
Yeah, a boot. So you restart your computer and it scans it. I did that and it found a whole bunch of shit and I deleted all that and it still wasn't gone. So I had to go through and I deleted one of the installer packs for Sweet Packs And then I went to add remove programs in the control panel. It wouldn't work because I deleted the install. So I had to I had to go to Microsoft's website and download something else that would
malicious software removal tool.
No. It was just the software removal tool that you could use if you didn't have the original install.
Really, they have one of those?
Yeah. So I went and I got that, and got rid of it, and now everything seems to be okay. So the reason we didn't do a show last week is because it was knocking my internet speed down so much that streaming was almost impossible.
It was because his computer was sick. It had a virus.
Yeah. So I gave it some TLC.
He poured some tussin into the computer.
Right, and that ruined it a little bit more. But it seems to be gone now. Although, as you can see up at the top, we did drop a few frames at the beginning of the show, but we're okay.
Unacceptable. Yeah. We're going to have to scrap the whole thing.
Also, Twitch has changed a little bit. But I made the necessary changes, so we're good. But it's weird. I don't know why they would do that. In any case, I don't think I don't have a top 5 for today.
No.
So this is gonna be our only show where we don't have a top 5.
Yeah.
Only because the man was trying to keep me down.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the next few weeks there are some other things that I'm going to talk about. Like today, I saw some promos at the comic shop for Batman Year Zero, because you just rebooted the continuity a year and a half ago. Let's give some origin stories. So let's do a crossover that requires a purchase of every Batman-related title in the DC library. Come on, DC. What's your fucking deal?
Right. In any case,
Balls.
I think that's good for tonight.
There's like 14 Batman titles.
How much are comics? $5 a piece?
Yeah.
You gotta buy 14 every week?
Not every week, but yeah, crossovers are the big scam. Usually they just try to convince people to buy books they don't normally buy just because to keep in line with the ongoing story and shit. There's an X-Men one going on right now that I don't really care about.
Alright, so that was the show for this week.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be sad.
And,
it's a little late. I'm a little tired.
And he's also sad.
Yeah.
Like a little bitch.
I'm very red today.
See you guys next week.
Word!